Ben Cooper, you're new to Danish hockey, and you came from as an assistant coach in Florida Panthers in the NHL, and now you ended here in Herning in the Metal Liga. How come and how did you connect to Danish hockey and Herning?
Mostly out of a desire to become a head coach. Really wanted to be a head coach. I thought I'd coached in a lot of different leagues in different cities and different levels, and worked with a lot of great coaches at the highest level, and gained a lot of experience and knowledge. And I thought it was just time that I put all that to use. As a head coach in a professional league. I'd been a head coach before, but not pro, and so that was my main desire. And then I always kind of had a desire to work in Europe as well. Just I know the hockey's quite good over here, and the fans are quite passionate. It's a bit different because there's less games and there's more time to practice and develop your team, and the way the fans cheer in the games is a little bit more passionate. And some of the countries are smaller, so there's not as much travel. So there was a lot of good things about European hockey that I liked, that I always kind of looked at and admired. And so I had a connection with Jannik Hansen, and just asked him the question one day: are there any head coach jobs open in this league? And he knew of. He was friends with Martin, and put me in touch with Martin, and then it happened pretty quickly from there.
Didn't everything went pretty fast? Try to tell us from the call from Yannick how and how to
it happened.
Get the job done.
Yeah, it happened pretty quickly. It seemed like everything I was looking for, Herning had, and everything Martin and Herning was looking for, I had. It seemed like, this first thing Martin said to me was that we're looking for a young, ambitious North American coach who's educated in coaching and got lots of experience, but also young and communicates well with younger players, and can develop players and connect with players, and is up to date with current systems in hockey and things like that. So I think I checked off a lot of those boxes, and at the same time, everything that he had to tell me about the Herning club and the league, seemed to fit with what I was looking for as well. So it was a really good connection.
So the chemistry was there?
Yeah, right away.
Then how do you work as a coach? You specialized pretty early as a video coach. Try and tell a little about your background.
That was my way in years ago. 2005 was when I started as a video coach in the American Hockey League, and since then worked at the highest levels as a video coach with Team Canada in the Olympics and World Championships in Europe, and under 18 World Championships and World Juniors, and all kinds of teams and levels, and gained. The biggest thing I got out of that was, being able to see the game and read the game, and find weaknesses in teams and be able to exploit that. And the second thing I got out of it was because I worked with so many different teams, because Team Canada was 3 weeks with one team with great coaches, and then a month with another team, great coaches, and then so throughout 1 year you would work with 12 different excellent coaches, and so I gained so much experience from them that I was able to take little things that I liked from each coach and apply it to the way I wanted to coach in my style. So I learned a lot from coaches. I learned a lot from just spending hours and hours watching and reading the game and learning the game, and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and then seeing the best players in the world too, and how hard they practice and how they prepare, and seeing the skills that they develop and how they develop them. So that was my route.
How come you specialized in video coaching? Was that
just a way
for you?
Not initially. I just became. It was a way in. It was a job. It was just an entry level part-time job that paid very little. Had a full-time job, another career altogether, and it was just a way to get my foot in the door, and then worked my way up from there, and put in lots of hours and lots of moving different cities and different jobs and things like that. So it was just a way to get in. I knew at some point I wanted to be a head coach, but I was happy to put in my time as a video coach, and then as an assistant coach. I knew that I was gaining valuable experience. And someone said to me a long time ago, like, you can't rush things. You just got to put in your time. So I put in my time. So it was 14 years or whatever of doing assistant coach, video coach, and then my finally as a head coach. And, I knew that was a path that lots of coaches have taken. You look at the NFL with a coach like Bill Belichick, who's regarded as probably the best football coach ever, one of the best coaches in sport history. And, he was a defensive coordinator, basically an assistant coach with the New York Giants for 10 years. 10 years he put in before he becomes the greatest coach of all time. So you just have to put in your time and learn and gain the necessary experience. If I had been a head coach, 5 years in, although at the time I thought I would have been ready, I wouldn't have been. So I'm happy with the timing and the way it's worked out, and sort of when I became a head coach, I think it was the right time.
Your last job was an assistant coach in Florida.
Yeah.
Organization. Try to tell us what was your job there?
Yeah. Still, a lot of video because that was my expertise. So I mostly I did the pre-scouting. So I would watch the other teams and figure out their systems and how they played and what their weaknesses were and how to exploit them and help develop a game plan around how the other teams play. So it was still a lot of video hours now as a video, but it was more, it was more hands-on now instead of just a guy in the back room and showing the coach here's what they do. It was, I could communicate with the players and the team and work with them one-on-one and work with them to present the systems of another team and things like that, and then help on the ice as well. So it was more involved, but still when you're in the NHL you have minimum 5 coaches, so your roles are pretty specific.
You came from the biggest stage, NHL, to the Ligaen, and with all respect, it's a smaller stage in Denmark. How do you see this transition for you, playing now in smaller arenas and everything is smaller here?
Yeah, well, it's all part of the plan, and I never really look at it like, oh, this is such a step down, or what. I don't really see it that way. Hockey's hockey. You play to win. You play to win championships. Winning championships is hard. Winning games is hard in any league. And out of the 13 or 14 years I was working in hockey, only 5 are in the NHL. So, the rest of the time I spent riding the bus in the Western Hockey League or youth hockey or the American League, riding the bus. So it was not all. It wasn't 15 years of glamour. It was, lots of hard work and lots of bus rides and lots of travel and younger players and less experienced players and things like that. So I've had a little bit of everything. So it was nothing, it wasn't like a big adjustment for me. The biggest thing was just different role, assistant coach to head coach. That's the biggest thing. The league, the level of play, the country, the stadiums, that doesn't matter to me. It's all, it's all about winning and try to win at any level.
Now you've been there a couple of months. What's your impression of the Ligaen and Danish hockey in general?
Yeah, it's a very competitive league. It seems this year in particular, from what I've seen and what I've heard, that this year is very competitive. All the teams are very good. There's good players in every team. There's no easy games. I've told our players, and we talk about that all the time. There's no easy games in this league, whether it's on the road or at home. We have to be at our best every game. It's very good hockey. It's fast hockey. There's good goal scorers. There's good Danish players. There's good imports. It's been a lot of fun coaching this team, and at the same time, it's been hard too, because it is a hard league. You've got to prepare. You've got to practice well. You've got to know the other teams that you're playing and how they play. You've got to communicate your systems well to your team. You've got to have a good understanding of how you want to play and make sure the players are on the same page. And it's been challenging, but it's been a lot of fun too, and I really enjoyed it.
How do you have those skills as an analyst for a lot of years, and as a new head coach? How do you communicate to the players, and how do you use your skills as an analyst in the daily work?
Yeah, just being clear. Don't want to have too much gray. You want to communicate so it's black and white. Here are our systems, here's the structure we want to play, and you have to repeat it over and over. You have to be consistent with the message. You have to show it on video. You have to practice it. You have to teach in practice. You have to review video after the games, and you have to do it over and over again and keep reinforcing until the players understand. And then sometimes it's a matter of communicating in different ways with the players, whether it's one-on-one meetings and one-on-one video sessions, showing clips of how certain players in the NHL do it, and showing NHL clips and how they do it, or international, Team Canada, Team Finland, or Sweden, or whatever the top international teams and how they play, and showing our video and practicing it. And it's just a continuous loop of communicating and doing it clearly. And I find that hockey is emotional because you're winning and losing, but you have to have a clear mind, especially the next day when you come back to the rink after a loss or something. You have to communicate clearly. It can't be yelling and screaming. It's got to be a clear, concise message. Players have to understand what you want and understand what you're saying, and then go out and execute it on the ice, and then correct it if it's not done well. Just keep repeating it. It's over and over. That's it.
And you have a lot of information giving to the players.
Yeah.
How is the balance of giving too much information, giving the right amount of information? How do you see?
It's this is a good question, because one of the things I learned as a video coach and working at the highest levels is that you might, as a coach, put in hours and hours and hours watching video and break down film and have 100 clips, and then you watch it again, and then you eliminate 30 of them, and then you end up with 70 clips, and then it's a huge, lengthy process for the coach. But the time you present it to the team and the players, I think you only have a very limited attention span with them, where you reach a point where it's too much information and they forget everything. So it's got to be short, to the point. I learned that from some of the best coaches, is that you might only have 7 minutes of complete focus when you're in the room with the team, when you're watching video with them. You can't show too many clips because the message gets lost, and you have to be short, to the point, clear and concise, and then move on to the next one, and don't show too many. So I learned that you have to be short. Sometimes less is more. Earlier on in the season, of course, and everything's new, it might be a little bit longer, but as you go and as the players understand exactly how we should be playing, then you can really make the meeting short. And some days you don't show anything. And some days you show a motivational video. Some days you show something funny. Some day you do things based on what the team needs and what the mood of the team is, and you have to read off them and have a good awareness of what's their attention level like, what's their attitude like, what happened the night before in the game. So every day is different. I think you have to do what's best for the team, and every day is different.
You as a head coach, what is your hobby philosophy? Do you want to play offensively or structured, or what is your way to?
It's a bit of everything, really. I want to play a structured game, but I also want the team to be fast and aggressive and creative and exciting. And there's a time and a place to do that. But everything starts with a bit of structure. Obviously, you can have a lot more structure defensively, penalty kill, neutral zone forecheck, things like that. But I think offensively, you give them some framework to work within, and some ideas. And you do have to have somewhat of a plan how to create offense. But then there's got to be a certain allowance for creativity and just reading and reacting, and hockey players using their hockey sense. So. Definitely a fast, aggressive team. Generally, we don't want to be a team that sits back and waits for teams to make mistakes. We want to force teams into mistakes, and we want to aggressively play. We want to be known as a team that's hard to play against, because we're always coming at you. We're never quitting. We're always hard of the net. We're always trying to drive the net and stand in front of the goalie and be aggressive and forecheck hard and those things. We don't want to sit back and wait. We want to play a hard, fast, aggressive game, but also in the defensive zone and neutral zone, we want to be structured too.
And how did you cope to living here in Denmark the first months? You have there's a dog here.
Yeah, we've adapted quite nicely. You can tell it's a great hockey town. Lots of good hockey fans. We've got great resources here with the team and the club, and great setup, and everything's close. You don't have to. It didn't take long to figure out where everything was, and we've got a great place to live, and we've got great players, a great staff. It's all been great. And I don't have any you know, I don't go home and think, oh man, I wish this was that way, or that I had this or that. It's been, you know, exactly as Martin described it would be. So I'm very happy with the living situation here.
Thank you, Ben Cooper, for your time.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah.